Are you House of Cards or Game
Definitely
of Thrones?
not politics. Definitely
Not politics.
No. Broadchurch too.
Broadchurch, very ITV friendly. Broadchurch too.
Homeland.
Homeland. You haven't watched House of Cards?
I think I watched the original one
Right.
20 years ago.
Too much politics on a Saturday
Too
night.
much politics or any night.
No Today programme in the morning?
Nope.
No news? No
Nope.
news night?
No. It's too much like work. I mean, it is work.
So you are good at switching off?
I am good at switching off.
You've done it.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, look out.
So basically, he is actually quite good at pool. I'm left to demonstrate how I misspent my youth
That's impressive.
before we settle down to try and nail how far to the left he actually stands.
In the New Labour era, there was a deliberate attempt to try and hog the centre ground, to be friendly to business, to get on with the newspapers, even the right-wing newspapers.
I've failed on the getting on with the newspapers thing.
You have, we can probably agree on that. But you seem to have deliberately done so. You seem to be trying to prove that a different path to power is possible, that you can be on the left, you can not worry about the newspapers, you not necessarily worry about big business.
Well, I think you know, some of that is definitely true. Look, I'm trying to do what I believe, which I think is the most important thing in politics, but more important by far than anything else. And some of that involves different choices from the New Labour years, on Rupert Murdoch, for example, on, you know, News International. I don't think they're going to be backing me at the
you think?
Election.
I don't know what gives you that idea. I think they're right behind you.
So different choices on that. Different choices about what I believe about inequality. I think partly New Labour had been out of power for a very long time, or Labour had been out of power for a very long time, and it was, if you like, it was a different time and there was a different things that needed to be proved. But look, the general point you make, which is I've moved on from New Labour, that's why I stood after all. Look,
Yeah.
why did I go through all that pain with David and everything? It's because of my beliefs, because of what I believe.
And I'm clear about that you're saying that the reason you stood against David wasn't about personal ambition.
No.
It was because his vision of the Labour Party was different from your vision, and you wanted
We
the two
offered
to be
different
tested
things.
against.
Yeah, we
I
offered
get that,
different
yeah.
things.
And in the affiliates, 19.934%.
Ah, yes, his brother. That remains a complicated issue to this day. In that leadership contest, I remember watching both of you come out, and you both, in your own ways, did look very, very shocked. And I do wonder whether, not that it would necessarily have changed things, but that you thought through or were prepared for the emotional impact of what would happen if you won. Is that fair?
I think it had a more bruising impact on David than I thought. You know, that was obviously sad. I feel we've come a long way since then. You know, he's got his own job, his own life in New York, and much happier, you know, rather than sort of being here and being sort of, you know, in this slightly awkward position. I don't regret for a moment standing. I don't.
You say sometimes you use the phrase healing rather than healed.
I think healing is the honest truth. You know, I think it was a hard thing, and
yeah, he was very upset at the time. I remember that. I remember
yeah.
seeing him and the immediate aftermath. He clearly was very upset.
Yeah, and he's in America now, and all that. So there's obviously been, you know, it's had repercussions.
Do you feel confident that you'll one day get to the point where it's totally water under the bridge?
I do. I think so. I think it'll take time. Yeah. I think this election is a sort of hump in the road to get over as well.
Yeah.
You know, and then you move on.
So here's a straight question. Will he now rule out a rise in VAT?
He's right. Straight answers deserve straight questions, and the answer's yes.
Well...
Hello.
Hello. How are you, sir? I'm going to be honest and say I probably don't think you're going to put that on your greatest hits tape.
No, although I did sort of think he might try and say in the first question, oh, well, we are going to rule it out. But, I mean, I don't think anyone will believe them. As Hugh Bailey, the guy, said at the end.
The impression I got is that you actually didn't expect him to rule it out so firmly, and it took the wind out of your sails a bit.
No, I was actually just saying to somebody on the phone half an hour before, what happens if he says, yes, I am ruling it out? and I actually had a sort of line on it. So these things happen.
I mean, the battle begins now, right?
Yeah.
This is it. We're out there.
Last Prime Minister's question's over, and the real battle begins.
If you do lose, have you pondered what you would do with the rest of your life?
There's only one prospect that I'm canvassing, and that's winning.